Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Gregory Leskin. It's great to be here today. I serve as Director for Military Families for the National Child Traumatic Stress Network, and it's a real pleasure to be with you today.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Julia Yeary. I'm the Director for Military Family Projects at 0 to 3. People are getting vaccinated. That's a good thing. And schools are starting to open. The world is starting to emerge slowly from the safer at home protocols. Some of you are actually starting to go back to your physical office. Of course, some of you have never stopped going in. But as you think about moving from this past year of being locked down to working toward what your new normal might look like, one thing might need to be adapted, and that's how much screen time your child currently has. Before COVID-19 hit, a study led by economist Dr. Weiwei Chen of Florida International University found that children aged 2 and under in the United States averaged about 3 hours a day of screen time, and 3 to 5-year-olds averaged 2.5 hours a day. By age 8, the Center for Disease Control says that kids are averaging 7.5 hours of screen time a day, with 4.5 of these hours in front of a TV. And this is not counting online schooling. Since starting Safer at Home protocols during this pandemic, many children are spending a significant amount of time on screens for school and then for their leisure time and fun time. And many parents report that they've used screens to help them manage the stress of trying to work from home while also caring full-time for their children. Really necessary for the difficulty of trying to do both. There's no question that this has been a tough year, and lightening restrictions on screen time helped many of us parents feel like life was just a little bit more manageable at home. We needed to do what we could do to get through these tough times. However, with more people getting vaccinated and more children returning to at least to part-time childcare or to school, the question is, how do we now get our kids so that they're not using screens as often and encourage more variety in their play? The American Academy of Pediatrics calls for no screen time at all for kids until they're 18 to 24 months, except for video chatting with family members. And they say kids aged 2 to 5 should get 1 hour or less of screen time per day. That's right, an hour or less. They developed a family media use plan. You'll see a link here on your screen for it, to help parents and kids kind of negotiate limits and boundaries around screen usage. In the guidelines on this family and media plan, it really helps to promote limits and boundaries, and the goal is to try and get kids to be more physically active and reduce sedentary behavior associated with use of TV, apps, and all the other things we do on the screens, as well as improve sleep for young children. The World Health Organization also recommends that no screens for kids under 2 and less than an hour a day for screen time for kids 2 to 5. One way to help your child transition to less screen time is to switch what kind of screen time your child can watch, as well as how they watch. According to several different research studies, including one done by the Children's Media Lab at Purdue University in 2015, found that children 3 to 5 years of age are actually learning from some of the slow-paced, high-quality shows like Sesame Street, including building early reading and math skills. Another study done out of Texas Tech in 2016 actually demonstrated shows like PBS's Daniel Tiger help children learn complex concepts like empathy and self-efficacy. But this only happens when children are watching shows that are designed specifically for young children. And this is the key: the child and caregiver are co-viewing the show or the app together. While watching the show and after viewing the show, caregivers can talk about what they saw and use the characters as examples for lessons that parents hope to instill. I know for my family, Barney the Purple Dinosaur was the rage when my kids are little. And I use things from the show all the time, like singing the cleanup song when I wanted them to help me clean. Clean up, clean up. I probably shouldn't sing, it'll make you guys all turn off. But anyway, using those show songs, themes, and everything, characters really helped to kind of push that lesson that I was trying to my kids to learn. By limiting your child's screen time to those shows that you approve of and having a set time to watch TV together, you can make sure that the time spent in front of a screen is actually growing your child's brain, expanding their cognitive and social emotional skills. Finding high quality screen time can be challenging, but we found a website that has a great list of movies, TV shows, and mobile phone apps that you might consider for your child's age. Check out Common Sense Media, and the website will be shown so that you can get to that. Common Sense Media, to find higher quality screen time opportunities for your family.
That's great. It is very possible that during COVID-19, your children's use of digital media has increased as many kids have begun regularly using devices for online learning, staying connected, and as part of school. It is very important to understand that the most recent research on the impact of children in digital media use and the potential impact on their well-being and development. Julia presented some of the recommendations for younger children's media exposure and the types of media that might be helpful for your young children's early development, including video conferencing with family members and developmentally appropriate media such as Sesame Street. Now, let's talk about the school age and adolescent digital media use and ways parents and children can communicate and find balance between their real-time activities and responsibilities and their digital life. Recent research by Dr. Jean Twenge of San Diego State University would suggest that heavy use of digital media by youth, defined as 6 to 7+ hours of online use a day, is associated with lower overall well-being. Interestingly, the most well-adjusted children did use some digital media, but a much lower amount, maybe between 30 minutes and 2 hours. Research shows that the children using more than 7 hours a day on their smartphone or tablets were twice as likely to have lower well-being. There even appears to be a pattern across studies that children with heavy digital use are at risk for unhappiness, less curiosity, less self-control, more distractibility, greater difficulty making friends, and less ability to finish tasks. Let's summarize. Outside of school use or learning, about 30 minutes to 2 hours is the green zone for digital use. 2 to 6 hours is perhaps a gray zone, but more than 6-7 hours is definitely red zone. At these higher levels, it is especially important that we review that family media plan and discuss limits and types of media that can be accessed. Please review these instructions for monitoring and limiting your children's online use using the Screen Time app setting from Apple or Google for Android phones, which will give you a precise measure of how much your kids are online and what kinds of media they are accessing. Of course, there are differences between the types of digital media our kids are using and their experiences of this digital media. For example, a moderate amount of texting, social media, and video chatting can be positively related to well-being as long as the experiences are positive social interactions. However, the same is not true for online gaming. Without that positive interaction that could come with more social-based activities. What are some of the reasons why heavy digital use can lessen child well-being? Well, digital media can interfere with sleep duration and quality of sleep. This might be due to exposure to blue light, which can interfere with the production of the sleep hormone melatonin and can even shift our natural circadian rhythms. Portable devices might be especially important in this regard, as people tend to hold them closer to their face and eyes, even closer than typical television viewing distance. There might even be a link between losing sleep due to blue light exposure and anxiety and depression and lower well-being in heavy digital users. Additionally, more digital media use means absence of well-being and growth activities, including physical exercise, book reading, social interactions, and time spent outdoors. Additional potential negatives of heavy digital media use include exposure to negative interactions, graphic violence, or adult-themed images, as well as sometimes the encouragement of social comparisons with other people that can potentially lead to a poor self-image or depression. Cyberbullying can also take place across digital media, and parents should be aware that a child might be subject to cyberbullying and be fearful to speak out. Here are some resources to assist parents to address cyberbullying.
Thanks, Greg. I've heard many parents say, well, I let my toddler have my phone because it's the only way I can keep her quiet. Or he cries if I don't let him have my phone. Well, what's wrong with this picture? Well, the biggest issue is that the child needs you to set the limits of what's okay and what isn't okay. You need to be in the driver's seat, determining what your child can play with. I like to remind parents that they wouldn't let their child have a knife to play with, would they? The same is true about your phone and using a phone. Check out this guidance from 0 to 3 on how to do this. And if you want your child to grow to reach their fullest potential, you want their brains exposed to all kinds of healthy experiences. Babies on the Home Front also has additional ideas if you need to learn how to help your child accept those limits when you say, no, you can't have this. Now, watching an app on the smartphone has been shown to do nothing for a young child's brain if they're under 2. From 2 to 5, the benefit of activities on smartphones is really determined by caregiver co-involvement in the use of the app. In other words, using it as a babysitter doesn't help babies' brains grow. Now, I confess that I plopped my kids in front of the TV with a mom-approved video or TV show to buy me enough time to do a chore I needed to do. And who hasn't, right? I think most of us have done this to get a little time for our grown-up have-tos. However, if we keep these to the bare minimum, our children will be better for it. So what can we do instead of using TV as a babysitter? Well, think about how you can involve your child in what you're doing. Making dinner? Well, have a basket of plasticware, wooden spoons, and other child-friendly kitchen tools, and let your child explore while you cook. And it really helps if they can only play with these toys when you're working in the kitchen. When you do that, those toys will have extra appeal than if they get to play with them all day long. You also can have your child help you wash the lettuce by giving them a bowl of water and a few leaves that you plan to throw away, and then they can work on that while you're working on making the salad. Or my favorite, give your child some cornstarch mixed with water to play with in a bowl. It's really fun for them because it's both hard, and then if you relax your hand, it's soft. It's just really fun for them to play with. These experiences done with you will be fun for them. And because it's fun for them, it'll be fun for you as you watch them have a good time. If you start really letting them help as their skills grow, they might actually end up, by the time they're in middle school, cooking you dinner. This is what I did with my 2. And both my son and my daughter are quite skilled in the kitchen. I think they're better cooks than I am. If you're doing yard work, give your child a spade and a hole to dig, and they will stay busy for a long time. Plant some flowers or a vegetable garden together, and they'll have fun watching it grow. Or let your young child pretend a lawnmower that you got at the local thrift shop for really cheap. And you'll see your child follow right along behind you as you cut the grass. I think the hardest part of breaking your child's screen time habits is checking our own adult habits. Kids use their parents as a role model. That's right. Your kids want to be just like you. So if you're finding that you're relying on screen time to make the time go by, almost in a screen usage fog, see if you can't start cutting back your own screen time. Model reading a book instead of looking at what's going on the news on your phone or seeing the latest videos on your phone. Or take up a hobby like knitting or woodworking. How about having an after dinner walk as a family instead of turning to TV? And for sure, think about turning off the screen when you eat dinner and make that family time with no screens allowed. Get out the board games and have a game night. You will be surprised at how much better you feel giving up screen time. You'll find more ideas on screen time by visiting 0 to 3's website.
Thank you, Julia. We realize this may be a very difficult time for some people, including children. If you or your child is experiencing any mental health problems, such as ongoing stress, anxiety, depression, or loneliness, we encourage you to seek out professional counseling through behavioral health or a military family life counselor, an MFLEC. If you require assistance, feel free to call Military One Source at 1-800-342-9647 or check in with the Ignite advice nurse at your clinic. We acknowledge this is the month of the military child, and it's a great opportunity to recognize the importance the entire family plays in military service. Thank you for all of your many contributions to the military and for our nation. We appreciate all that you are doing every day and hope that you will join with us to develop ways to ensure all families enjoy high levels of daily well-being. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for joining us.